We're continuing to follow the breaking news. The man called the Butcher of Bosnia finally has been caught after being on the run for more than 10 years. Radovan Karadzic led the Bosnian Serbs back in the 1990s. He allegedly led a campaign of extermination against Bosnian Muslims. He's an accused war criminal. Let's discuss with Richard HOLBROOKE, the former U.S. ambassador to the United Nations, who negotiated the Dayton Accords ending this fighting. You met Karadzic yourself, and you refused to shake hands with him.
Yeah, we negotiated with him. This is a historic day, Wolf. A man who's been on the run for 12 years, who NATO should have captured, has been captured, and by the Serb government themselves.
To their credit.
To their credit. This is the government of Boris Tadic. It's a huge event. I would think Mr. Bashir, the president of Sudan, who's just been indicted by the International Criminal Court down in Khartoum, is thinking hard tonight that it could be him. But
remind our viewers, when you negotiated with Karadzic and General Mladic, and another alleged war criminal right now, still on the run, he's still on the run someplace, you negotiated the end of the siege in Bosnia.
And you covered it. Look, I only spent one horrible night with Karadzic and Mladic. We were bombing them. Milosevic said to me, let's go see
former leader of Yugoslavia.
Former leader, not then indicted, said, would you meet with Karadzic and Mladic? We knew this was going to happen. We gathered and said, let's do it. General Clark was my military assistant then. Chris Hill was my political deputy. Each man decided for himself whether to shake hands. I wouldn't shake hands, but I remember...
Because he had blood on his hands. Is that what you're...
Yeah, he is...
How many people do you think he was directly or indirectly responsible for killing?
300,000.
How do you get that number?
That's the number of people who were killed. And without Radovan Karadzic, this thing wouldn't have happened.
How is it possible that he was in a small, tiny area where he was hanging out? How is it possible that he could remain free at large for a dozen years and Ratko Mladic is still at large?
The original failure to capture him was a NATO failure in 1995-96 when he was quite easily visible and NATO didn't make enough of an effort. That failure continued. Mladic is at large because the Yugoslav army was protecting him. But this guy, in my view, was worse than Milosevic or General Mladic. He was the intellectual leader.
So what do you want? What do you want to happen to him right now? He's going to go on trial.
Well, here's a big issue. You said he was an alleged war criminal.
He hasn't been convicted yet.
He hasn't been convicted, but he is an accused war criminal, and he is indicted in The Hague. The question for President Tadic in Serbia tonight is, do you turn him over to The Hague, as they did with Milosevic, or do they try him in Serbia, which will be a big political issue?
What do you want?
I'd like him to go to The Hague.
For a long, because that could take years, that trial, as we saw.
Once he goes to The Hague, he's not getting out again. That would be the end of that. Now, the other issue, of course, is the effect in the region. This guy was a kind of a Robin Hood to the Bosnian Serbs, evading capture for 12 years, fomenting dissent. His removal from the scene will help enormously to create stability. This isn't some historic event. This is, ancient event. This is an ongoing event of historic importance.